Hello and welcome to Crisis of Infinite Podcast, the only podcast that is filled with marvels, monsters, mutants, and manga mayhem. I am your host, Mark Palmer, along with my guests,
Brian,
Chris,
Alex.
Today is a special episode. For today, it is our first podcast together with the episode titled Nickelodeon's Nerdy Nostalgic Nut House. Speaking of the popular children's network, our first topic of today, we will be discussing its 25 years of animation as we celebrate shows both past and present, the impact it's had on our childhood, and our thoughts on the revival of old Nicktoons from the 90s. First, let's go with you, Brian. Can you tell me some of your favorite shows from Nickelodeon, past and present, the impact it's had on your childhood, as well as your thoughts of bringing back the 90s shows?
well, obviously one of my favorites is obviously the same for a lot of people, which is Avatar. So I'm honestly not going to discuss it that much because people have discussed that one to death.
Yeah.
But beyond that, because I was a bit older when Avatar came out, so in terms of younger shows, one of my favorites back then, this is still a bit older, was probably Danny Phantom. I really liked that one. I liked how it did the superhero tropes. I thought it was really good. If we want to go young, the shows that I watched the most was probably Rugrats. I watched a lot of Doug. God, what else? I watched Cat Dog and some, but a lot of those shows I never really gave much thought. That's the thing. A lot of those shows I wouldn't say impacted my childhood because I never really gave much thought to them after they ended. Like, I kind of still really much like Danny Phantom.
Mm-hmm. Any shows that you like presently that are on?
Obviously the new Ninja Turtles.
Oh, yeah.
What does Nick currently have?
Loud House.
Loud House. I haven't seen much of that. It looks pretty good. Alex, you tend to know what is their schedule right now?
Their schedule is like SpongeBob.
Yeah.
5 more hours of SpongeBob.
Pretty much.
So my car, whatever
And
is
then-
replacing our Carly.
Obviously, we could just get into like a 2-hour rant about Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah.
And Fairly Odd Parents. Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it's even on Nickelodeon. I think
No,
it's
it's still on and it's still doing new episodes. And
I mean, like, I know
they're
that
not
it's
good.
Shifted to Nicktoons.
yeah, it is on
Oh,
Nicktoons.
okay.
Yeah, and like speaking of Fairly Odd Parents, I mean that was like a good show like back in the day, but like it has like overstayed its
Series
welcome.
fatigue.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's actually, I've got, because I learned about this, kind of a bit of history in regards to Butch Hartman and Danny Phantom is, when he was working on Danny Phantom, he had that planned out for 5 seasons. But somewhere in the 3rd season, he wanted to do another new show, which was
Tough Puppy.
Tough Puppy, yeah. But the network, either because they didn't want him to have too much power, or they didn't want him to have too much responsibility, they told him you're only allowed to have a certain number of shows, be working on a certain number of shows at one time, and they basically gave him an ultimatum. They said, okay, end Danny Phantom now, and we give you the permission to start on Tough Puppy, or just continue on Danny Phantom and then, do Tough Puppy down the line. But, the problem there is you never know if they're going to let you do that, 2-3 years down the line.
Meanwhile, he can run Fairly Odd Parents to the ground.
No,
Well,
he actually gave up control of that when he was working on other things.
yeah, but at the time, I think he was still working on Fairly Odd Parents.
Yeah, he was still working on those 2 projects. They didn't want him spread out too
Yeah,
thin.
they didn't want him spread out too thin, so they basically gave him an ultimatum. And Danny Phantom and get to work on Tough Puppy, or finish Danny Phantom, and then if we're still willing, we'll let you do Tough Puppy, and he chose to end Danny Phantom.
But speaking about running it into the ground, what you're referring to there isn't so much that Butch Hartman had all these horrible ideas and all this stuff. I mean, he does have some insight there. But the thing about it is that basically Tough Puppy, Fairly Odd Parents became what is referred to as a teaching show.
Yeah.
It's a show where people who get out
from
of
what
CalArts...
From what I understand...
Yeah, I heard about that.
From what I understand, SpongeBob is the same way.
Yeah.
Yeah, they basically just bring in a bunch of new people, say, okay, this is your first project. These shows are good staples. We just need to pump more stuff out for them. quality control isn't too much of a problem with them. Just do what you can with it and
Wait,
show us
wait.
what you can do.
Those shows have quality control.
Well, I did say it isn't too much of a problem.
Well, we're
with
still
them.
on the topic of Fairly Odd Parents. I wanted to say that the Mary Sue character has basically become the main character now.
Yeah, I stopped watching it a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I don't know enough about it to go and give a judgment there, but honestly,
Yeah.
I think that might be worth it because Timmy's kind of been driven into the ground, and the amount of how he's been driven into the ground pretty much makes him a Gary Stu too, so it's not like that's much of a change.
I haven't watched the new episodes. I just watched a review of someone making a review of one of the new episodes, and it tells us that, this Mary Sue has now become the main character. Wanda has become as dumb as Cosmo. Timmy's become a jerk. And, like, all the supporting characters...
Wait, Timmy's become a jerk?
I know.
Well, more of a jerk than usual. And basically all the supporting characters might as well be dead.
Yeah, same here. I only found out about the Mary Sue character because it kind of blew up a bit on the internet.
Did you know that they got rid of the fairy dog?
Not surprised.
Well, good thing,
they had
too.
to put him down.
Yeah, they pulled a Poochie, like on The Simpsons. Plus, with Poof... Like, they actually gave a good way how they wrote him off. Like, he's going to fairy school or something.
Yeah.
But Jersey, he showed me a picture of Cosmo and Wanda doing duck faces.
The problem with any cartoon doing memes is the amount of time it takes for them to produce the episode, because unless you're South Park where they pump that out in a week, by the time you get that episode to air, that meme has long been dead.
Well, no, it isn't dead. The problem comes when it's either A, integrated organically or funnily enough into it, or B, if it's how long its shelf life is going to last. Like, to give a comparison, look at Looney Tunes. Looney Tunes, a lot of the jokes are kind of, if you were to go show it to someone now, they wouldn't understand a lot of it because a lot of the culture in there is no longer a thing. It's aged poorly because of that. But at the same time, the way that they did their jokes is still funnier than how some of it is being handled now.
Yeah.
Like fingerprints.
Oh, yeah.
It's not, oh, hey, let me do this thing that people find funny now as a reference that you will find funny simply because it is a reference. It's usually tied in with a pun or a wit, pun or some form of wit that makes it work. And though even then, they still do the whole referential thing with references to popular characters. So it's not like they're above this overall. It's just there's some wit in there. Other times it's just like, okay, yeah, you're a show of your time. And we can't pretend that shows of your time aren't a thing that's been around for all the time.
Yeah. So, like, I was discussing Fairly Odd Parents with Jersey. Like, I told him about, like, all the supporting characters might as well be dead. And I told him that that the main focus, like, the main villain for Fairly Odd Parents now is Crocker. I mean, I can understand he possesses a main threat to Timmy and his fairies because he actually knows a secret. But if it wasn't for Vicky, Timmy would not have the fairy godparents.
Crocker's always been roughly the main-ish antagonist.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
I mean,
Vicky's always been a side antagonist.
Remember in the old Cartoons episodes, she was like the main villainess?
Well, because they didn't have anybody else at that point.
Well, she was only really an antagonist insofar as she antagonizes Timmy, but she isn't like an antagonist in the form of a villain who wants to destroy Timmy. In fact, when she became more like that was when people got annoyed with that, because like, Vicky shouldn't be there. She's just supposed to be a mean-ass jerkwad doing all this stuff. And honestly, she works the best when she is just a mean jerkwad doing stuff that kids don't like and Timmy doesn't like. And basically, she just sits there to justify Timmy having fairies despite all this great stuff happening. Crocker is literally the person who's supposed to be an actual antagonist because he's the one who shows invested interest in specifically dealing with Timmy because he wants Timmy's fairy godparents.
This is what Jersey said about how it's gone to downhill, basically. He said, it hurts him both mentally and physically. He said, I almost needed some Low-Dine because I nearly slit my wrist, preferring to black out than having to sit through that crap.
I like how we're referencing somebody who nobody listening to this is going to know who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
You only do that if you're going to make fun of them. You suck, Jersey. There, I justified your existence.
Well, can I name you some of my favorite shows of
course.
Nickelodeon and everything?
Oh, no, I already know what it's going to be. It's going to be Ren and Stimpy.
Yeah, obviously, but like, I mean, I did also like Rocco. I liked Hey Arnold. Cat Dog was good.
We're playing Spank the Monkey.
I mean, that show got away with a lot of
Yeah.
stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
seeing it now, I'm like, wow. And like, there's some stuff where like I forgot what happened. Like I remember there's this bull working out, doing his working out his pecs, and then his arms fall off and like blood just explode. I'm like, what? Wow.
Everybody on the giant wiener.
Well, no. It was the doggy style. Everyone in doggy style position.
Yeah.
Everyone on their hands and knees.
Oh baby, oh baby, oh baby.
Rocco. This is BK.
Yeah, this is just, it's just
You actually do that well.
Oh, thanks.
yeah, really shows nowadays do similar still. It's just a matter of how stringent standards and practices has gotten because of responses. It's like, oh hey, now back then it was like, oh, it's easier to get away with these jokes that'll go over the kids' heads, but not the parents' heads. But then parents are going, oh hey, that's not that good. You need to pay more attention to that. You need to cover stuff like that. So now they have to get more clever with this. Like, this is a great example from Gravity Falls. Disney's really stringent on what they allow inside their shows. You can see it throughout the entirety of their timeline. For Gravity
Well, it's
Falls,
Disney. What do you expect?
Yeah.
for in Gravity Falls, they have an episode where it's like there's this party, and they say, it's like, can we reference kissing? It's like, no, you can't reference kissing. How about spin the bottle? No, spin the bottle isn't appropriate either because that's going to reference into kissing, and that's not good. It's like, okay, then what can we put? Can we put not S&P approved? And they're like, yeah, that's fine.
Well,
So it's literally a poster that says, activity is not S&P approved. Standards and practices.
Speaking of, I remember an episode of Star versus the Forces of Evil where Marco gets a tentacle for an arm, and like you can hear a girl in the background say, "I want it to be my boyfriend." I can't believe they got away with that.
Well, that one's really innocuous, honestly. That one's actually innocuous.
Well, even Gravity Falls did another tentacle monster reference with that where Seuss says that Giffany's dad was an octopus man.
Yeah. But again, it's able to be just that innocuous without actually sounding lewd, without being understanding of what it
Because-
is in reference to. Because despite who you're talking to, that's not something that your general public is going to know about.
Yeah, that's a specific thing that we get because we're fucking nerds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, can I at least tell you the impact the shows in Nickelodeon had on my childhood? Because, well, seeing as how Ren and Stimpy was like my all-time favorite cartoon as a kid, it turned me into the insane individual that you see today.
Or not.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
I
I-
actually owned like a bunch of VHS tapes, and like I just can't tell you how much of a masterpiece that show was, with the animation by John Kay, the voices by Billy West is just I don't know how to say this, but like it is just, like I said, a masterpiece, and like lots of shows try to copy it, like with
But you're forgetting the best Ren and Stimpy, the adult Ren and Stimpy.
well, it was kind of hit and miss,
It was very
to be honest. And with SpongeBob, like their new episodes are trying to be like a lot like Ren and Stimpy with the shock value and everything.
I can't remember the last time I watched a SpongeBob episode.
Yeah, because like there was this one.
I actually watched SpongeBob for a good long time, but that's because my sister was into it well into her late teens.
I gotta say, my favorite episode of SpongeBob has to be the Valentine's Day episode. Just seeing Patrick go ape shit. I
curse you,
no, I defy
No.
you, Heartman.
No, obviously your favorite episode has to be Ripped Pants, because obviously that's the best episode.
I also liked Life of Crime, the one where they buy the balloon.
Oh yeah.
You took all my fully food. Now I'm gonna store.
With the close-up of his fat.
The only things left are you, me, and this fire. Wait, How could there
Also
be
a fire underwater.
No, it's wait a second. If we're underwater, how can there
What, Alex? You haven't gone. What
Yeah.
Nick shows like? Do you remember watching a lot, or like kind of stayed with you?
Well, I remember watching most of the stuff that you guys talked about, bits and pieces here and there. I don't have strong memories of too much. The one that hasn't been mentioned that I still enjoy a lot is My Life as a Teenage Robot.
Oh, yeah,
that-
that was a good one.
Renzetti is a really cool, really great guy, and although the show is a bit, I will admit to the show being a bit stiff and lacking at points, the style is really interesting, it's unique, it pops off. The concept itself is something that we didn't really have at the time.
Yeah.
Because I mean, oh hey, you had all this stuff about kids who want to go and be a crazy super guy, but then you have this thing about the crazy super guy who just wants to be a normal kid.
Well, to be fair, that's the wanting to be normal. That's kind of the crux of Spider-Man.
Well, yeah, it's the crux of Spider-Man, but Spider-Man's thing is more of a melodrama, and that's more that he doesn't want to have to deal specifically with the responsibilities of having to deal with actual literal threats on his life. My Life as a Teenage Robot is about the concept of, oh hey,
I want to be a normal person.
the veneer of this crazy amazing life. Yeah, it's cool and stuff, but at the same time, while it's crazy and cool at stuff, I think it's boring because it's what my life is all the time, and being normal is something that far more interests me, and that's not something you really saw as a kid. Someone who actually went and what's the word I'm looking for? Idolized a normal life.
Well, since you were on the topic of how like you enjoyed My Life as a Teenage Robot, and I wanted to talk about Hey Arnold, because that show, the reason why I still think it's one of Nickelodeon's best shows is because that show could get like really emotional. Like it had a lot of feels, like the Christmas episode, the Chocolate Boy episode.
It was also legitimately scary at times. That train episode freaked me out.
Oh, what about Arnold's dream where him and Gerald were old people, and then he sees Grandpa, he's like, "When I tell you, short man," his jaw falls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that show was actually scary at times.
There was also some things that surprised me about Hey Arnold, like some of the stuff that they would say, like they were allowed to say the word crap, like Helga would say it. They were also allowed to say the word midget.
Well, they also managed to slip a lot of stuff past the radar, like the mom obviously being an alcoholic.
Oh yeah, and when Harold, Stinky, and Sid mooned Principal Wards, they actually showed their bare asses. Today, you can't show bare ass in cartoons anymore.
Or
Because,
like one of my favorites is come on, Grandpa, you still have a lot of your brain cells left. No, not since Woodstock.
as I was mentioning, like in cartoons, like since they can't show bare bottoms anymore, like when they moon, I just watched a recent episode of Regular Show where like they were mooning people, but they had underwear with the person's face that they were mooning. So that was
worried you want my butt.
So Chris, what were some of your favorite shows as a kid from Nickelodeon?
Well, as Alex said, you guys covered pretty much everything I would say, but I'd probably go with the ones that mostly stuck with me were definitely Danny Phantom, and amounts of the Fairly Odd Parents, or at least before it started going downhill.
Yeah.
I did see the first 3 episodes of the current season, and I pretty much jumped off of it at that point.
Yeah.
Abandoned ship.
I abandoned
much.
ship from Fairly Odd Parents when they had the dog.
I abandoned ship a little bit after Foop.
Well, I didn't really watch Fairly Odd Parents when Foop was introduced. I kind of watched it out of boredom because there was nothing really else on.
Yeah.
And well, as far as SpongeBob goes, like my niece still watches it, so I kind of watch it with her. But there actually are some episodes post season 3 that I do kind of find funny, where Patrick was trying to read like a signed plankton buildup, and he's like, "Excuse me, sir, your big words make my tiny head hurt." And his head has a little mouth, and it starts crying. It's like, "I don't get
Well, one show we forgot was literally the 90s show.
Oh yeah, Rocket Power.
Yeah.
Rocket Power, oh yeah.
That show, if you ever want to, if somebody ever asks you, what were the 90s like? Show them Rocket Power. That is the 90s.
Yep.
Well, actually, slight correction on my end. I didn't actually see most of the FOOP, I guess, era, and definitely did miss, luckily, the dog parts, but I did come back for the current season, and as I said, saw the first 3 episodes before dropping it. Definitely.
It's like, oh, I wonder what's going on. Nope.
Speaking of the 90s, how do you guys feel about them trying to revive their old 90s programs? Like, Hey Arnold's getting a new movie, Rocco's getting a 1-hour TV special, and I heard that Ren and Stimpy might be a theatrical short attached to the 3rd SpongeBob movie.
Well, with the Hey Arnold one, that's something that was always meant to happen and has just been put on hold for so long. Mm-hmm. So that's not so much trying to revitalize them. That's them kind of keeping a promise that they made 20 years ago.
Yeah, my promises of a jungle movie.
Rocco, I don't know. I mean, it's only an hour-long special, so I really don't know what their idea for it is, or even what they hope to do with it.
It doesn't seem like
Do
it's
you
a
think they
revitalization.
can get away with the dirty jokes that they did in the past if they do the special?
It depends on the stringency of the standards and practices department in there now.
I want to say no.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I lean a little more towards it, probably trying to be a little bit cleaner. But at the same time, if you see what current SpongeBob has done in flagrant gross out humor, I think that the standards and practices isn't so strangleholdy that it's not going to let them get something out of it.
Yeah, maybe.
Because, I mean, I'm glad that they're doing a Ren and Stimpy short, but I just wish that show would come back because, like... Well,
do you really want it to come back after the adult version?
Well, I would like it to, like, be like how it was back in the day and still keep the gross out humor, but not make it too adult. Like, still make it for kids, but, like, still, like, kind of be edgy, but not too edgy.
But that's the thing, based on kind of some of the stuff that's happening, and you said you wanted to discuss this anyway. It was like, look at how many shows that have been revitalized, and we've just gone, oh.
No. Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of.
No. The problem with Ren and Stimpy wasn't the revitalization itself. The problem with Ren and Stimpy is that adult party cartoon is what John Karafuski wanted.
Yeah, it's Chris Felucci, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Oh, it's Felucci?
Yeah, Chris Felucci.
Oh, Chris Felucci. Okay, that's the whole name. Sorry. It's a long name. John K.
Yeah.
John K. John K. basically wanted something more like adult party cartoon. He wanted to be able to go up and wild, but then Nickelodeon standards and practices forced him to set it down a bit, a good few notches during the project, and it created a good product. But then eventually they're like, okay, yeah, this is getting a little too intense. We need you to take off the project, and then you got the more sanitary 3rd season. Of Ren and Stimpy.
Because if I ever created a cartoon, it would be like Ren and Stimpy. Like, it would have like that wacky, disgusting humor, the weird, realistic drawings, the music. I love the music that they play. It's just so great. And I would also add random sound effects. Like, I know Ed and Eddie had a lot of random sound effects, like with animals and like cars and shit.
You wouldn't believe me.
Would you believe me? Cause my favorite.
What is up?
Oh, the sumo sound effect I know where Eddie has the volcano stuck to his head. He's like,
They use that one so often.
I know. I
it's
love
great.
that sound effect. That's great. And what about that weird monkey noise with Ed? That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
Like they play it whenever he's happy or like does something weird or just stands there.
That was a great creative way to handle the art direction there. It gave this feeling of, oh hey, this is kind of awkward, out of place. It's a bit surreal. Yeah. Well, and it's nothing like, this is the hat of discipline. Do you live in a cave?
I will always be amazed that the voice of Rolf is the voice of Goku.
What?
I believe so.
No, can't be.
Range of voice. And I could
No,
I
because
could see that.
I remember seeing a video where they played It was either a Rolf voice over Goku.
Is it Sean Schimmel?
I think so.
Wow.
I remember a video where they either played a Goku clip over Rolf or a Rolf voice clip over a Goku clip, and the whole idea was that they were the same voice actor.
Yeah. But even without that, it's like you could understand the range of voice that could justify that being true.
Sean Schemmel has a good range of voice because he did Black Doom and Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, and he's also King Kai.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, if you think about King Kai, then think about Rolf's voice.
Yeah.
Okay.
King Kai is a little more baritone version of Rolf.
Well, I hate to break it to you, but all good things must come to an end, because our next topic is canceled shows or shows that might end. And the show that I know that is ending, like I said, as far as I know, is regular show.
Last season.
Gumball is rumored to be canceled, and I want to know what shows you guys miss and what shows you actually want to get canceled.
Cartoon Network, now with 75% more Teen Titans Go.
I want Teen Titans Go to have 15 more seasons just to make people angry.
Well, that's pretty much all Cartoon Network's going to be now.
No, well,
I know, but if you...
We still got Adventure Time and Steven Universe.
Yeah.
And speaking of Adventure Time, there was a Simpsons intro that
Adventure Time
parodied
is ending.
Adventure Time.
Adventure Time is also ending.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, there's been claims that this next season is going to be the last season.
Well, I heard rumors about a movie.
Yeah, that might... I think that's also in the works here. But yeah, basically...
Okay, so beyond Teen Titans Go, they've got what? Looney Tunes, Steven Universe.
Are you talking about
Girls.
the Looney Tunes
yeah.
show? The
Powerpuff
one
Girls.
from like a couple years ago?
Wabbit.
Wabbit.
Oh, that's the one?
Banicula.
Wabbit?
Banicula, but I think Banicula might have gotten canceled after its first season.
And then there
I
was
think
ano-
Wabbit also might have gotten canceled.
There was another one. It started with a C.
Clarence?
Clarence, there we go.
Clarence is still going strong.
I haven't even seen the second season.
So, assuming Banicula gets canceled, like you said, that's
Well, no, I think it might have already been canceled.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
not
so
sure,
that's-
though.
Clarence, Powerpuff Girls, and
Teen Titans Go.
Web. No, I'm talking besides
yeah.
Teen Titans
Oh,
Go
and Wabbit.
and Wabbit, and that's it.
Yeah. Also, I believe... No, wait. That was it. That was what I was thinking of. Teen Titans Go is still staying, but Adventure Time is ending once it has 147 hours of content.
Wow.
And that was it. So we're getting like 36 more episodes, which is a good amount. I mean, literally 147 hours worth of content.
And I haven't seen any of it.
It's 7 seasons. That show is 7
Pretty much
seasons,
same.
36 episodes each. It's nearly 200, 300 episodes. Oh, it's Steven Universe is approaching 150 soon, and I think the set end is that 200 is at 200 episodes is the framework that they have for the ending. And so that'll be coming eventually. There's basically a lot of stuff is going to be ending eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we can't have it all live forever, so it's
Yeah,
understandable.
well, here's one show that, it will end eventually, but the franchise won't end, and that is TMNT. So,
When's that ending?
I don't know. I'm saying that I know it's probably going to end soon, like everything.
Really? Because I feel like there's still a good amount of stuff that they can cover.
Yeah,
I
that's
kind of
Right
somehow
now,
I feel like this season might be the final season, because like after City of War, where do you go after that?
I don't think so.
Well, literally, you can go and send them into the future where they have future near hologram weaponry, and then they come back to the present with their future hologram weaponry. There's like even more stuff. It's not like there's a dearth of ideas that you could do with Turtles. Turtles 2003 showed us all this stuff that you could do.
I'm
that gets
honestly
absurd and
surprised
obvious.
we haven't gotten any kind of version of the Battle Nexus tournament.
Oh yeah, because
there
if
you
they
go.
do that, they gotta have Usagi.
I'm still waiting for Usagi.
Yeah.
I did actually check their wiki, and it said there's at least another season planned, if not 2.
Oh,
Okay.
good.
Yeah.
There's still more to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But
Because here's the thing. Usually what happens after the City at War arc is kind of a city rebuilding arc where they're trying to rebuild, but there's still that gang war now that Shredder's gone and everybody is trying to fill the Shredder vacuum.
so that's basically what's happening in the IDW comics, right?
That's usually what happens after the City at War arc in general.
Oh.
Yeah. Basically, it's the second half of Spectacular Spider-Man.
Yeah. You do the City at War, and then there's usually a power vacuum.
Yeah.
So I like to do a little recap for people who are out of the blue. Like,
Out of the loop.
Yeah, whatever. Out of the loop, my bad. So apparently they get back from space, and April is still...
That ending was
yeah.
horrible.
And so April still has that crystal, but she's acting like Golem, and it amplifies her psychic powers. And I'm calling it now. She's probably going to turn into the Phoenix Force or something like that.
Here's the thing. I love the crystal idea. I don't like some of its execution, mostly in that they keep bouncing around how out of control April is. Because during the fight with what's her name? Shinigami?
Yeah, Shinigami.
She has one moment where she loses it and does a psychic blast, and you kind of got the red eye thing. And then literally the next time they bring that up, she's literally in Golem mode.
Yeah. Plus, Shredder, apparently, I think he's going to go Super Shredder because
Something
they gave
like
him
that.
some type of mutagen, and now he's got
We
bone
know
claws.
he's gonna go Super Shredder.
Well, he's got bone claws now. Is he gonna get adamantium planted inside of him?
Maybe.
Actually, they look metal to me, but otherwise...
No, they were bone.
No, he's going to go... No, what's going to happen is he's going to get skeletal armor. Yeah, he's just
And
going
look like a rhino and be able to fire it.
Yeah. Basically, he's going to turn into a big... He's going to turn into a big dragon skeleton.
Gonna
No,
be Spike.
he's
From
no,
X-Men.
he's gonna turn into Kevin Nash, the guy that played Super Shredder in the TMNT 2 movie. He was a WWE guy.
Yeah.
And well, has there been a thing going on in the IDW comics?
Well, this is kind of a spoiler. Okay, I'm just gonna say this. This is a bit of a spoiler, so if anybody does not want to be spoiled, skip ahead a little bit. But in issue 50, Splinter killed Shredder.
Oh, you already told me that.
Yeah, and now he's taken over the Foot. And right now they're battling. They've got two things they're battling. One is like this ancient, kind of pulls the string demon fox. And they're also battling this tech group that has really advanced cloaking and invisibility technology.
I see.
And then basically it's just those two, and they're trying to get those two to fight each other, aren't they?
Yeah, but the Fox Spirit's goal is to revive Shredder.
Oh,
Why?
not?
I guess she had some kind of a mystical pact with him or something like that.
Oh, so she made a demon contract with him. And it's like, oh, I still need him to do stuff for me.
so
I'm
a
gonna bring
Shredder
it back to
Mephisto?
Mikey's no longer part of the group.
I think you told me about that too.
Yeah, he basically could not abide by the idea of the turtles being Foot, and so he left the group and is still living in the sewer, but on his own.
that. Wait, they became the Foot after...
Yes.
Splinter?
After
Splinter
Splinter
killed Shredder, took over the Foot so that there wouldn't be a power vacuum, and the turtles are now members of the Foot. Granted, Splinter's trying to reel it in and make the Foot more like they used to be in the old days.
Basically, vigilantes.
Yeah.
Okay.
but with honor.
Understandable.
Well, yeah, no, that's the point. Is when I say vigilantes, is he's trying to make them people who fight for justice outside of the law, like they were already doing. Though honestly, it's like Mikey being mad about being Foot at all that seems kind of silly for Mikey.
Well, he doesn't like it because Splinter is also becoming a bit more militaristic.
Okay, that's more reasonable.
Yeah. You know what I hope?
He's becoming a fuddy-duddy.
You know what I hope for my hopes for the future of the franchise? I just hope that once the Nickelodeon series ends, that the net series doesn't become like a Teen Titans Go or Sonic Boom. Because my worst fear of Nickelodeon's TMNT, I thought it was going to be like Sonic Boom, but boy was I wrong.
Yeah,
Sonic Boom was actually fun though.
Yeah, it's pretty okay at times.
It's bad if you were really 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 wanting just another or Sonic not Sonic Underground Sorry, Sad AM. If you wanted another Sad AM, I keep on forgetting that has the same name as Adventures. But it's like, if you wanted that, I can understand a disappointment, but in and of what itself, if you're going for a more humorous interpretation of Sonic, it works pretty great. I also love how meta it is and basically what it's turned Eggman into, because it's turned Eggman into what everyone has presented him as for the most part.
I don't like the theory that some people seem to have with certain shows that it has to be one or the other. Like, it has to be super serious or it has to be funny. There is a balancing point. Ninja Turtles, the new Ninja Turtle show hits a good balancing point, even though most people think the Ninja Turtles are just this super silly 1980s show.
Oh yeah, I can agree with that. I can agree with
And
there being good.
I would have rather had Sonic Boom try to do that balancing act where, yeah, it's silly at times, but it also does have its serious moments, but it's just pure comedy.
Yeah, but I also think that, honestly, I think that is fine compared to how everyone's like, oh, it's horrible, it's horrible. It plays that same ground where it's like, oh, you can't do comedy and seriousness at the same time. People have this whole thing against, oh, hey, you can't just be all comedy when you're a serious property because, oh, hey, you can have an all comedy
But
version.
Sonic was never an all serious property, except during the mid 2000s, and that didn't turn out well.
Well, you know what I mean when I say an all serious property. I'm not talking about, because when people think about, oh, a Sonic show, when they think about Sonic and TV, they aren't thinking, oh, hey, why don't we go and emulate Sonic Heroes and like where it's a balance of that, or Sonic.
Yeah, they're thinking let's emulate Sad AM, but even Sad AM had its humor.
It had its humor, but it had a very small ratio of humor too. It was a very serious show, and people want that serious show back again. And it's like,
but that's the thing. I don't want the super serious show, and I don't want the super cartoony show. I want a balance of the two.
That's fair, but isn't that also what Sonic? Man, I'm forgetting the name right now.
Sonic X?
Yes, X. Thank you. Wasn't that a bit what Sonic X was? A balance between that serious and cartooniness?
The main problem with Sonic X was that it focused too much on the humans.
I could see that, but
that was the biggest problem. I think Sonic...
Didn't they fix that in the third season, though?
Yeah, but a lot of people didn't like that because they just didn't like the concept of the Meta-X.
Fair. How did you feel about him?
I thought it was okay, but I also thought it limited the show because they were stuck on a space station the entire time.
Fair. Are you referring to watching in English or in Japanese? Because there's a big quality difference.
I only watched it in English.
Yeah, the Japanese version was a lot better tonally.
Yeah, but either way, regardless of Japanese or English, they were stuck on just a ship for a lot of that season.
Yeah,
and that was just boring. I would prefer it be like the first season of Digimon where they just wander.
I could see that.
Well,
why do they need a home base?
It's usually when they have a home, when you give someone a home base, it's for the concept of being able to go and say, okay, this is our static setting, this is what we're going to be using. And so you'll be seeing this set piece and this set piece and this set piece show up quite a few times, so that it helps us save on budget. And it helps keep things kind of episodic, because now it's like you have a reason to say, oh, hey, we're here, compared to something like Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, where they literally still were doing it cheaply, but they were putting it all over the place in all these weird places with him wandering, and it's silly and obtuse, and they get their episodic content out by being just, oh, hey, random event Sonic happens into most of the time.
Well, speaking of seriousness and humor, since we're still kind of on the topic of TMNT, I wanted to talk about my opinions on the recent Michael Bay movie, TMNT Out of the Shadows.
Yeah, see, I'll only cover it briefly. That's another thing. If they reboot the movie universe again, which they're going to have to because the last one bombed big time,
Well, they did plan for a trilogy, so...
Wait a second, there was a new TMNT movie? I thought there was only a new Bebop and Rocksteady.
Yeah, they were the highlight of that movie. If any of you think that you think it's gonna suck, just watch it for Bebop and Rocksteady. You won't
then
be
just find those scenes on YouTube.
Yeah, pretty much.
Honestly,
they were made for a Michael Bay movie.
Honestly, most of the film is actually kind of okay. It's a lot better than the original, and it's decent. The only real problem comes from characters that they introduced into the film,
Like Casey?
No, secondary characters that they introduced into the film, that are more
Like Casey.
No, not Casey. I mean characters who exist specifically for that universe, like the guy with the key to the city.
Oh.
Yeah.
Vern?
Yeah, Vern.
But yeah, he was from the old show.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm showing my dumbness here, but you know what I mean. But you can kind of get where I'm getting at, where it's like just characters who are very minor and not as relevant to the turtles themselves.
Yeah.
And the plot points focusing around them, you've detracted from the plot there. And a big issue there is that now you've taken screen time from someone who needed it. You've taken it from the Shredder. What did the Shredder do in that film?
He got turned into a Smash trophy.
Absolutely nothing.
I'm big, evil, and threatening. I'm threatening because I was threatening in the first film.
I'm
Karai. Yeah. Karai. I'm here and I'm threatening too. But I'm going
And
to get beaten
old.
off. I'm going to get beaten off screen. Then Shredder's like, I'm also evil. I'm going to betray you. Stockman. Look at me. Oh, hey, Krang. Now we're going to take over the world, right?
No, I'm going to betray you.
Freeze. Like, he doesn't even get a fight with Krang to
I
go
know.
and present how threatening Krang is. He does not do
Yeah,
things to make
because
him
the
threatening.
movie treated the foot like if there were ISIS, but they couldn't do jack shit.
They're just a big old joke, and it
I
would
like
work.
how one battle they're competent, the next battle they're complete idiots.
Yeah, it's like it would work if they were either consistently jokey or they were consistently threatening or they got struck some form of balance between the two. But now it's basically Shredder is ineffectual.
Isn't that kind of like what happened in the 87 cartoon? Like, they were a threat, but then later on they kind of became a joke, the foot.
Yeah,
No, the 87 cartoon, they were never a threat.
they had points where they did appear to be a threat, but
They
as
were
you
only-
got to know more about Shredder and the like, he became this jokey character. If
Well,
Shredder,
no. He was talking about the foot, specifically. The foot were only ever a threat when they came at them in huge mass, like by the
Yeah.
hundreds. And that was just because numbers wearing them down.
I'm not even talking threat in that way. I'm talking threat as in threatening. Like very early on when the Foot kidnap April for going in and interfering with their plans, they have some veneer of seriousness there.
Episode 1,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah, episode one, there's some veneer of seriousness there, but then as soon as you've learned more about the characters in there, suddenly, bam, all their threateningness is gone, and now they're hammy. If you either maintain Shredder is serious, and you don't do that thing with Krang, and you give him an actual action-packed fight sequence where Krang ends up kicking his ass and freezing him down at the last second, or because then that establishes how dangerous Krang is, or you go and you push Shredder is hammy as heck, and then you have Shredder be hammy and silly throughout the entire film. So when he goes and he betrays the guy, it's like, I'm betraying you because that's what villains do. And then he goes and he gets to Krang, and Krang's like, he's like, okay, Krang, we're going to take over the world. Isn't that right? No, I'm betraying you because that's what villains do. And then freeze.
Episode 5 of the original show actually had a pretty good battle between Splinter and Shredder.
That too.
Well, you know what I would like to see for a reboot if we do get a new film? Well, I kind of think TMNT might work as like a Netflix series, like with Daredevil. Like,
Yeah.
I want to see the guys that do Daredevil tackle a TMNT movie to make it based off of like either the original comic or IDW. Like, it can still be dark, but like probably still like pay homage to like the other sources, just like the Nicktoon does.
I want it to be treated with respect because I am personally just sick of everybody writing it off as
The 87.
as the 87 cartoon, as like there is no seriousness at all. It has nothing to it.
But I think the problem with the first Michael Bay movie is that I don't think it knew what it was trying to be. I don't know if it was trying to be like the original comic or the IDW comic, but then people complained, we want it like the original cartoon, and so
The problem
they
is
gave it to us.
The problem is Michael Bay had no fucking clue what the core center of the Turtles is, and
But he got Bebop and Rocksteady right.
Here's the thing: any show or hero or concept can be boiled down to either a single word or a single phrase, and the word that best describes the Turtles is brotherhood.
Yep.
Like that is when you boil
not
it down. That's the core
bros.
concept.
Brotherhood, big difference.
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say just brotherhood. I would
Well,
say
I'm talking when you boil it down to its
Family.
main. Yeah,
Yeah.
family.
But
family, that's a better word.
I would actually go and say solidarity and adversity. Because, it's about them being brothers and together, but most of the themes that the Turtles handle isn't just about, oh, hey, we're brothers and we're close-knit and all of that. It's about being brothers and close-knit and holding together when you face a world that
Rejects you?
Yeah, that rejects you and is against you and all of these things. The adversity portion of the Turtles is just as important to
Kind
their
of like
identity.
X-Men.
Yeah, it has very much the same core theme as
Yeah,
X-Men.
it's almost
Yeah.
like X-Men meets Fantastic Four a bit.
Yeah, that's the
Yeah.
other thing about X-Men would have the same theme, solidarity and adversity. It's a very common theme when you're talking about shows about outcasts. And shows about outcasts tend to focus on the importance of the connections that we make when society rejects us as a whole.
Normal people, the people that walk the streets every day, we cannot understand.
Either way, if there's another movie series made, I want it to be given to someone that's actually going to take it seriously and try and actually show that it can be serious.
I think
Yeah.
Chris Nolan
I can
could
understand
do a
that,
TMNT movie.
but at the same time, no, I don't want Chris Nolan.
No.
He'd be better than Michael Bay.
No, you're going to get a serious project that's going to be excessively serious, and it's going to
Yeah.
miss the key
And-
themes of the project.
You know,
And
as
too
much
realistic.
as much as I want it to be serious, it does need to have some humor to it.
Yeah.
It's not even the lack of humor. It's,
How about
it's
Whedon?
going. No, it's not even the lack of humor. It's going to be not the lack of humor, but missing the key themes of the character. Like Dark Knight comparison. I do think that Dark Knight misses a lot of core themes of Batman as a character.
Oh god, the comment section. The comments.
Hey,
It's good. It's good as its own lore thing, but it misses a lot of what I feel Batman is. I do think Brave and the Bold is one of the best examples of what Batman is. The original Dark Knight did a portion of this, but I think everyone who's like this grim and doomy Batman misses the fact that the Dark Knight was about a Batman who had been run ragged after years of fighting the world, and the world just beating him down.
The
into
problem is
nothing.
that's pretty much become the standard for what Batman is now.
Yeah,
but
which is-
at least Chris
which is
Nolan
the
did a
problem.
better job than Snyder.
Yeah,
Snyder's Batman is just crazy Steve.
Well, no, Snyder's
No,
Batman-
it's not quite Crazy Steve, but Snyder's Batman
Is a lot-
embodies all of the bad tropes of Batman.
Yeah, honestly, I would say Snyder's Batman is a logical extension of what you do when you shift Batman from the Nolan
far
universe. When you
toward
shift
the dark
Well, no,
side.
I was going to say when you shift Batman from the Nolan universe into a universe that contains people like the Man of Steel, Superman, and the Flash. He's a Batman. He's a Batman who's willing to kill, who's willing to fight, will use weaponry to do all these things, and suddenly you've thrown him into a world where he has to deal with superpowered crazy maniacs. That's why I say a lot of this centers back to Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan set up this concept for Batman being this super utilitarian, kind of aggressive, what's what I'm looking for, general of sorts, who's looking to fight and is looking to be serious and fight instead of being about this nobility of I'm here to save people and save people from all walks of life.
Basically, Batman has become less about I'm here to save people and I am the best at what I do and what I do is everything.
I wouldn't even say that. I would say it's gone from I'm here to save people to I'm here to eke out justice, even if that justice is in and of itself just as criminal as the things that I am going and bringing justice down upon.
So he's the Punisher, basically.
Like
Pretty
I won't kill you, but I'll break your arm and put you in the hospital and
Yeah.
Your
put you near
skeleton is
death.
gone.
Batman only does
I won't kill you. I'll just break every bone in your body and leave you in sub-zero temperatures.
Yeah, the core theme of Batman goes into the concept of only doing those types of things in self-defense. Why do you when I go and I point back to Brave and the Bold, 69 Batman, and Batman the Animated Series. Those are three of the best Batmans that we've had.
it's sad that two of them are so comedy and comedy based.
Yeah, I'm only restricting myself to public media that's about now Batman, because there's a lot of good comics too that deal with themes like this. But it's like those three Batmans, they show the wide array you can do while still having the same core image of Batman there. Yeah, sure, and Brave and the Bold, Batman's punching like crazy. It's like 69 Batman, he's still off a bit because he's way too far into the light side of being a Boy Scout, eat your vegetables. He lacks a bit of the trauma that needs to go into being a Batman. That's why I do lean a little more towards Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold is the example of a Batman who's fighting for justice, and he's literally fighting, but he's fighting in a way that makes him an icon of justice and an icon for what stands up for being right. He is in and of himself presented as this kind of embodiment of truth, justice, and the American way, even when he is himself damaged at points. While TAS Batman focuses more on the humanity of Batman. Batman as a concept of the fatigue that went into making him what he is and what makes him human and what shortcomings he understands about himself and applies to others when he goes and deals with people reasonably. It's why everyone loves Batman, the animated series Batman, because he's a Batman who's not only going to go and punch stuff in the face until it stops.
Because he's the goddamn Batman.
It's a Batman about a guy who's going to go and see, oh, hey, this guy went and froze over a city on New Year's Eve. Why did he do that? Oh, he did it because his wife loved the snow, and he's grief-stricken over the fact that there might not be snow this year. So he gave it a snowy winter. He let him grieve, and then I'm going to take you back to Arkham so we can help you. Instead of just being like, oh, you're a criminal. Oh, you're disrupting the ecosystem. Let me just throw you in jail. Bum.
All right, for our next topic, let's discuss the popular culture from the rising sun, starting with anime, in particular DBZ Super, where we will be discussing a recap of the series as well as predictions for future episodes and what animes we would like to see on Toonami. So Chris, I understand that you watch DBZ Super a lot, and can you tell us what's been going on recently? Without any spoilers?
Well, I suppose, as Brian would probably jokingly say, it's the Goku show. Goku's done stuff, and that's about it.
Yeah.
But really, though, the current season is the only really new season, aside from the previous one, since the first two seasons were just recapping the movies. Granted, they were adding more things to it. Sometimes it was good, sometimes not so great, and I'm not even talking about the animation quality itself. But after that, it was the tournament between the two gods of destruction, between the two universes, which was actually original and new. And we got the new transformation of Super Saiyan Blue, as it's apparently called, and Kaioken times 10. But with the current season...
I love that they just happen to remember that Kaioken exists.
Yeah.
Kaioken, you can add it on top of anything and it works.
Pretty much. The in-universe explanation was you can only use it with Blue because perfect key control, whereas without that, it would just kill him.
I'm just going to say I find that bullshit because they pretty much mastered perfect key control during the Cell games. That was a point of them coming out of the hyperbolic time chamber was saying, oh, we mastered the key of Super Saiyan to the point that we can just do it without actually needing to even think about it.
Yeah, just being able to turn it on and off at will.
Yeah, although even within the same episode where he mentions that, he points out that when he uses the new form, it had a 10% chance of success, I think it was. It was a definite giant gamble, and if he had failed...
Except it would work.
It would kill him.
It would work. It has to work because it's goddamn Goku.
Can you tell us about the current season, like with Future Trunks returning and...
yes.
He's back again?
Yeah, pretty much. He's back because there's a new threat.
I do not understand that timeline. I'm sorry. Because they keep hinting, oh, this is the same Trunks. But if that's true, then the one character, what's her name, Mai?
Yeah.
Yeah, she should be an old woman, not a kid. So it's like, okay, does that mean that this is just another bad alternate future split off from the now current main timeline, where it would make sense that Maya is the same age as Trunks, but it's like, oh no, he remembers the last time you get what?
No, obviously what's happened is, in
'Cause
order to consolidate, basically they realized, oh hey, we can't have 15 future Trunks running around, so the time gods are like, okay, anytime a bad Trunks from the future comes to the past, he's going to remember everything that the other Trunks do, because we got to consolidate them into one thing, so we don't end up having 15 Trunks all running about at once. Though why he doesn't tell you about the other things that went wrong in the future, we're not going to tell you.
Because doesn't he literally say that, doesn't the show literally say that, oh, this is the same future Trunks from DBZ?
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
they
pretty
do.
sure.
I don't remember
Okay.
the dialogue.
Then
but,
yeah, this whole time travel thing makes no goddamn sense.
No, obviously Cell was a problem, but Cell wasn't the problem that causes future Trunks' timeline. So killing Cell didn't end up changing the important event that causes the death of future Trunks' timeline.
I will say this: there are spoilers here. So
Can we all agree that Toriyama is like Miyamoto? He gives no shit about continuity.
Well, yeah, kind of, but it's basically, oh hey, you're making me write this forever. You guys aren't letting this go to rest. Just let me have my let me end my show already.
Well, no, he said he wanted to do it after doing the movie because he was inspired by a song.
inspired by a song.
It's probably
Yes,
It
that-
sounds like it's just what's the word I'm looking for? Posturing for the public, because you can't just go and say, "Oh, hey, I'm goddamn tired of writing this series. Just let me end it already." Yeah, after what happened with GT.
But he had ended it. He'd ended it for 15 years.
Yeah, but then they keep on bringing it back.
Yeah. Well, he
They
did
don't
say
want
that
it to die. It's their cash cow.
Yeah.
He did say that the Frieza movie was created because of the song for it.
Yeah.
Well, there are some spoilers here for the current season. Apparently, there's this Supreme Kai named Zamusu who's basically like a Magneto type of character. He despises humans because of their actions, and he wants to eradicate them.
Well, he's not actually a Supreme Kai yet, but he's on his way to becoming one.
Okay, my mistake. And apparently, in Trunks' timeline, he gathers the Super Dragon Balls, and apparently he wishes for immortality, and apparently Black Goku, the evil Goku, is supposedly a creation of the Dragon Balls as well.
Well, that
Wait,
was
we're literally doing the Black Star Dragon Ball plot now?
not quite.
Black Goku. He's evil.
Black Goku?
But
He's evil.
so, what is the whole point of Super Saiyan Rose? Is that like a form of God? Because that's what Black Goku can turn into. Yes, Super Saiyan Rose.
The details
Wait,
regarding
wait,
Rose
wait,
are not
wait.
known.
Does he have a mystical hammer he pulls out of hammer space?
Oh, no, obviously he can summon a shield from nowhere.
No. Obviously, Super Saiyan Rose wants to marry Super Saiyan Blue.
But yeah,
We're making two entirely different jokes here. We're not gonna meet in the middle.
I know.
It's not exactly known. Rose isn't shown until during the fight between Goku Black and the other two, when I think he mentioned something about after the fight he gains enough power or whatever, and then just gains the ability to go what would be Super Saiyan Blue, but for him it's Rose because he's
Please tell me that
different.
when he transforms into Super Saiyan Rose, you get like the soccer pedal background.
No, but his aura does have some similar appearance to it, kind of I guess sparks floating around in it.
Also, as I mentioned, the Kai that's evil. Apparently, they go back to the past. No, they go into the present timeline, and Beerus kills him just by saying the words "disappear." And so, apparently, since people witnessed that, they're gonna say, "Oh, Beerus can beat Superman, no problem, if he can do that." Or he can beat
What did he do?
Wait, who did he kill?
the Kai, the evil Kai.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, do they know how strong the evil Kai supposedly was? Because, let's face it, the Kais are not strong at
Well,
all.
the evil Kai was on par with Black Goku's level.
Okay.
Actually, no, he wasn't. During the fight, it was pointed out and shown that he's
Didn't
not
they
really
say
that.
Didn't they say that Zamuzu and Black Goku have like the same key level?
not key level, but similar energy type, so similar key. And it was actually shown that Zamroso has the same power level as Super Saiyan 2 Goku. The only reason he was a threat during the big fight was because he was immortal. So when he was stabbed, it was like, oh, okay, you'll just heal and so what?
Well, my predictions for this episode is that I believe that Black Goku is secretly Goten.
I've heard that theory.
Yeah. Well, apparently we're all out of time, so we got to wrap things up. Once again, I am your host, Mark Palmer, along with my guests,
Brian.
Chris.
And Alex.
Good night.